Megan Show. Grace, I heard you read a pretty interesting book the other day.
I did, Megan.
No, tell me a little bit more about this book that you read.
This book, The Lost Years of Merlin, is about a boy named Emery who washes up on the shore of Caer Bedwen in what is now Wales with his mother Branwen. And Emery's lost his memory. He has no idea where he came from or who he was and stuff like that. And Branwen won't tell him anything about their past, but she tells him that his name is Emery and that she's his mother and stuff. And so they live in Caer Bedwen for 5 years, and Branwen practices healing. And she tells Emery stories about the Druids, the Celts, the Greeks, and this legendary island of Fincaera, and it's supposed to be an island halfway between heaven and earth. And so Branwen and Emery possess powers that scare other people, so Branwen is taken to be burned one day, kind of like Joan of Arc, and Emery tries to save her, and he succeeds, but he burns himself, and he loses his eyesight, and so that's how Merlin became blind. If you've ever heard about Merlin, you know.
Right, yeah, I know that, Merlin.
Yeah. Me too! Sorry.
And King Arthur and stuff, yeah.
Am I tired?
And
no?
so
okay.
Emery he has something called the second sight.
I'm not tired.
Emery has something called the second sight, which is kind of like a sixth sense, and he can see without his eyes, so he decides he needs to find his own past, since Branwen won't tell him anything about his past. So he travels back to the seashore, and he builds a raft, and sails out to the sea, and then a storm hits, and his raft falls apart, and he ends up on a mist-shrouded island, which turns out to be Fincaera. And here he meets Rhea, who's a young girl who tells him about the blight that's spreading through Fincaera, and it's all because of this evil king who's ruling Fincaera, and he's basically destroying Fincaera. And he also he saves the life of this young falcon, Trouble, whom he names Trouble, and that Trouble in the end gives his life for him, and so that's what causes Emery to take up the name Merlin.
So can you tell me a little bit about the author?
The author is T.A. Barron. He was born in March, like me. He was born on March 26, 1952 in Boston, and when he was really little he moved to a ranch in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, and he grew up there, and he really loved nature, and he studied at Princeton and attended Oxford, and he moved back to Colorado then, and he's a writer, and he's written over 20 novels.
Sounds really interesting, Grace. I hope you join us next time on The Megan Show.
Wait, the recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
In action.
And, well...